Welcome to the Executive Order Audio Library, where we read Trump's executive orders in full so you can stay informed about what they actually contain without having to spend a lot of time sitting down and reading them. If you find this resource helpful, please like this video so others can find it too. To stay on top of future executive orders, please click subscribe and allow notifications so you can be alerted when new recordings are available. Today I'll be reading from Executive Order 14162, Putting America First in International Environmental Agreements. Some people say this executive order prioritizes American jobs and taxpayer dollars by withdrawing from costly international climate agreements. Others feel it undermines global efforts to combat climate change. Among other things, Executive Order 14162 directs the immediate withdrawal of the United States from the Paris Agreement. Supporters highlight America's strong track record of reducing emissions independently, while critics worry this move isolates the U.S. from global environmental leadership. Countries like England and Germany have also reassessed their climate policies in recent years, raising questions about the effectiveness of those agreements. Let's hear exactly how this order reshapes America's role in international environmental affairs. This is a reading of Executive Order 14162, Putting America First in International Environmental Agreements. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1. Purpose. The United States must grow its economy and maintain jobs for its citizens while playing a leadership role in global efforts to protect the environment. Over decades, with the help of sensible policies that do not encumber private sector activity, the United States has simultaneously grown its economy, raised worker wages, increased energy production, reduced air and water pollution, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. The United States' successful track record of advancing both economic and environmental objectives should be a model for other countries. In recent years, the United States has purported to join international agreements and initiatives that do not reflect our country's values or our contributions to the pursuit of economic and environmental objectives. Moreover, these agreements steer American taxpayer dollars to countries that do not require or merit financial assistance in the interests of the American people. Section 2. Policy. It is the policy of my administration to put these interests of the United States and the American people first in the development and negotiation of any international agreements with the potential to damage or stifle the American economy. These agreements must not unduly or unfairly burden the United States. Section 3. Implementation. A. The United States Ambassador to the United Nations shall immediately submit formal written notification of the United States withdrawal from the Paris Agreement under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The notice shall be submitted to the Secretary General of the United Nations, the depository of the agreement attached as Appendix A. The United States will consider its withdrawal from the agreement and any attendant obligations to be effective immediately upon this provision of notification. B. The United States Ambassador to the United Nations shall immediately submit written formal notification to the Secretary General of the United Nations or any relevant party of the United States withdrawal from any agreement, pact, accord, or similar commitment made under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. C. The United States Ambassador to the United Nations, in collaboration with the Secretary of State and Secretary of the Treasury, shall immediately cease or revoke any purported financial commitment made by the United States under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. D. Immediately upon completion of the tasks listed in subsections A, B, and C, the United States Ambassador to the United Nations, in collaboration with the Secretary of State and Secretary of the Treasury, shall certify a report to the Assistant to the President for Economic Policy and the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs that describes in detail any further action required to achieve the policy objectives set forth in Section 2 of this order. E. The U.S. International Climate Finance Plan is revoked and rescinded immediately. The Director of the Office of Management and Budget shall, within 10 days of this order, issue guidance for the rescission of all frozen funds. F. Within 30 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary of Energy, Secretary of Agriculture, Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development, Chief Executive Officer of the International Development Finance Corporation, Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Challenge Corporation, Director of the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, President of the Export-Import Bank, and head of any other relevant department or agency shall submit a report to the Assistant to the President for Economic Policy and the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs that details their actions to revoke or rescind policies that were implemented to advance the International Climate Finance Plan. G. The Secretary of State, Secretary of Commerce, and the head of any department or agency that plans or coordinates international energy agreements shall henceforth prioritize economic efficiency, the promotion of American prosperity, consumer choice, and fiscal restraint in all foreign engagements that concern energy policy. Signed, Donald J. Trump, The White House, January 20, 2025. This concludes the reading of Executive Order 14162, Putting America First in International Environmental Agreements. To stay on top of future executive orders, please click subscribe and allow notifications so you can be alerted when new recordings are available.